Hi guys, welcome to another video. This video is on the MERN Stack. So MERN Stack is a JavaScript based open source development stack. So here you can see the name MERN. So M stands for MongoDB. So Mongo is used as a database. Express as a backend server. React as a front end, and Node.js as a runtime environment. So if you want to create an app using this stack, so first of all you have to download uh, everything, all the required software. So go ahead and download MongoDB, Node.js, and once you have done that, so then we can install the modules using Node.js. So Express.js you have to install using Node.js, and then React.js. After that, we have to install Mongoose, that's the library from Node.js. So if you have done that, now you're ready to create a new application. So let's start with the backend first. So this is the application for the backend. So it starts with the app.js. So as I've told earlier, we need the dependency for Express. So just include the Express module. This is another module, body parser. Body parser is required for creating a post request. Another module, course. Course is required for cross origin request, because actually our server, backend server is a different server, and the front end server is a different server. So we have to allow cross origin, and we can specify the origin here. So our front-end server will be running on localhost 3000, so we can specify that here and then include that, and then create an app for Express. Use the body parser. This is for the post, and then we have to map the URL. So once you have done that, next comes the controller. So this file will be actually taking the request and giving you a response. So as you can see, I have three methods here, two get methods and single post method. So when I call this post method using the URL which I have specified here as products, and then create. So I have to pass the product details in the request body. So using that, we are creating a new product object. So how we are doing that is, to create this object, first you need to create a model, because this is the object that is going to be stored in the database. So take this as an example. So first uh, the database details, so that is present here in this file db. Okay, so let's go to this file. Here you can specify the module, which is mongoose, and then we have to specify the database URL here, set it up, and then export the connection. So once that is done, now we go back to the model. So here we have to specify the schema, and the schema will have the attribute names. So when we create an object, we'll have to pass the value of these two. So in our case, we are creating the object here and using the product body, sorry, request body. So the request body should match with the schema. So let me show you the request. Product ID, product name. This is what is expected here and should match with this product. So this is one part of it. So once that is done, using the schema, we are going to create a new object. And with the new object, we are going to call the save. Okay, so this save function is it is used to save the data to MongoDB. Okay, so as part of the parameter, we'll pass the data and the callback function. So here, if there is an error, we'll show the error. We'll pass it to the response. Otherwise, we'll pass the save data to the response. So, okay, this is the save part. Okay, so similarly, there is another part that is for the get. Okay, so we are using that and we are having that displayed in the front end. So you can see there are 4 records because we have 4 records in the DB. So let's add another record and let's see what happens. So I've added a new record. Okay, it's saved to the database. Let's go back to the app. Yeah, it's getting added. So our create part is working fine. Now let me show you the get part. So start with the controller here. Okay, so this is the URL list all. So you can see I'm calling this URL here. So this will display all the data. How it does that is again we have to use the product object. So that is derived from the schema which is done in this file. Okay, so now it should be clear. Okay, fine. So here I can pass a parameter and get the data accordingly. Like I have 2 methods. I can pass the product ID and I can get the data. Okay, or I can call the second method to get all the records. So this is the one I'm using here. Using this find method, we are going to fetch the data. So this is the backend. So backend is an Express.js application, and we are having a connectivity with MongoDB, and we are using this Mongoose library to perform that connection. So this is a simple backend application. Now let's go to the front end. So in the MERN stack, we know the front end is React. So we have created a React application and we have started it. Okay, so the host is localhost 3000. So this is what is the application URL. So how this is working is so to know that, let's go to the application. So here we have the app.js. So when we create a React app using npx, so this app.js is created automatically and it looks like this. Okay, so what you need to do is just clear the content and just put the HTML code specific to your application. So you can see here I have included another component which is home. Okay, so here is it imported. So how a component work is, how React work is, first of all it will call the app component, so that is here. So this part of code you don't have to change anything. Your changes should start from app.js. So here, okay, so either you can write the whole code here or you can import another component and there you can put your code. So what I've done is I've put the code in home.component, home.js. So let's go to home.js. Okay, so before that there there's one important thing you need to know. There's a render function. So the render function will return the data that should be in HTML format. So that has to be displayed whenever this component is used. So here, since we have used a function, we have return. But when you create a component like this and which extends React component, you need to have this render function. So what this render function will do is it will return the data that has to be displayed whenever uh, this component is used. So here you can see we have the component that has to be the HTML part that has to be displayed. So let's first focus on the constructor. So this is the constructor and it takes an argument as props. So this is optional. If you're not using a prop, you can just ignore it. Okay. So another important part of a component is state. So prop is a data that is sent to the component and state is the state of the component. So prop cannot be modified. State can be modified within the component. Okay. And prop is the data that is received from a different component. So if I want to pass some data in the props, I can pass it from here. This is just for explaining this props. So we can give any name, something. So it will get passed to the home component in the props. So we'll see that so products is here. So this is an empty array. So this gets filled from the HTTP request. So how to do an HTTP request is this is a method. This is a lifecycle method component did mount. So in the lifecycle process of mounting, this is a method that will get called. So mounting happens once the component is loaded. So once the component is loaded, this will get called and this method calls the service and fetches the data. So the fetch method and then the response is stored in the state. So as I've already told you, there are two important parts of a component, props and state. So we can modify the state, but to modify that we always use the set state method. Okay, so don't directly put this dot state equal to something here. Okay, so use the set state method. So here I am setting the products which I have already defined here as the response of this HTTP call. Okay, so this is the lifecycle method component in mount. This will get called once the page load. So we have the data now, and then we have to display it. Okay. See, another important point is, let me go back to the app component is, you can see here this is a HTML code. Okay, but this is a JavaScript file. So ideally, if we put a HTML code in a JavaScript file, we should get error, but we are not getting any error here. This is because React support JSX. So JSX is a JavaScript XML. So we can have our data in XML format, so it need not be a string. So there are some rules that you need to remember while using a JSX expression. So it should be a valid XML. So let's suppose this is an HTML format, but if I have something which is a valid HTML but not a valid XML, so that is not allowed here. Okay, so if I remove this is a valid HTML but it is not valid XML, so we'll get an error. So JSX element div has no corresponding closing tag. Okay, div is having a closing tag but this input is not having a closing tag, so that is why you are getting an error. So I hope you are clear about JSX. So similarly here we have to return a JSX expression. So how to do that is, this products array we are mapping it to a different component. So for each product we have to call this product component. So as of now we have seen the home component, so we don't know what is product component. So let's go and check the product component. Okay, so this is our product component. So similarly this extends the component. It has the constructor, and as I've already told you what is the use of this props is used to pass the data. So here you can see how we are passing the data. Name equal to product name. So product is from this products is a part of the array. This is the element in product. So product name. Okay, so let's go back to the product. So we have passed it from the in the props. So how to use this is this dot props dot name. So name is what is passed there. You can see here name. Let me explain this in a simple format. So here, instead of this app, let's use the product. Okay, so now in this app component we have not used the home component, we have just used the product component. So what should be the output now? The output should be what is present in the render. So what render is saying is product and this dot props dot name. So did we pass anything here? No, we didn't pass. So it should be product and that's it. Let's verify that. Okay, product and nothing else. So if you want to pass a name from the app component to product component, we can specify it. Okay, so now what is the output we are expecting is product and then the name, because we have passed the name as a prop. You can see here whatever data we have passed that we have received. So I think you guys are clear now about this render function, props and state. Okay, so let's go ahead to this home component. Okay, so I think this is self-explanatory. We are just passing the product name here and we are showing this component as many times as we have the products. So let's change the code back, make this as home. This is not required, so we remove it. Okay, this is what we expected. So let's use this and create another product. It's created. Let's check our application. As you can see, we are getting all the products now. So this is about MERN Stack. To summarize, uh, we have MongoDB as a database, Express.js as a backend server, React.js and Node.js as runtime environment. So this is what is MERN Stack. So we have two applications running. So one is for the front end, another one is for the back end. So the React.js application is for the front end, and Express.js is for the back end. So Express.js will have an integration with, the backend application will have an integration with MongoDB. And from the front end, we will try to access the data. We'll pass the data that has to be saved. So that's it. Let me know in the comment section below. Hope you have learned something today. Thank you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.